What's up, guys? I guess we're going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A today. I'm going to go over some questions that I've seen pop up that I either haven't answered or I thought were interesting and I thought I would share. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer in the next Q&A, I will either respond to them in the comments or in the next Q&A. Leave them in the comment section down below. Okay, first question from Hazy59 about 5 hours ago. I'll let you know in the comments to watch this video for the answer. Would I be able to compare the bass between the AudioQuest Nighthawks and the M1060? That will be the last factor that I need info on before I purchase one of them. Okay, so if you're just looking at the AudioQuests, which are like $300, they're kind of around the same price as the M1060s. There's a lot of factors to consider. They're completely different headphones. They're not really comparable. The only similarity is that the Nighthawks are technically qualified as open back, but they're not nearly as open and spacious as the M1060s. If you just want to know about bass, though, I will just answer about bass. So, what can you expect on the bass on these things? The impact of the Nighthawks is better. The initial kind of force behind the sound is substantially more. It does go lower, but I do not consider it as clean as on the M1060. Now, the M1060 does not have nearly the amount of bass as the Nighthawks do. And I'm not sure the physical reasons why, if it has to do with the Nighthawks driver or the planar magnetic driver of the M1060s. That part isn't important. What do I hear? I hear the M1060 has smoother bass. I enjoy the bass on the M1060 more, but if you are more of a bass head and you want more of a bass biased headphone and you would prefer more of a V-shaped sound signature rather than kind of the more flatter sound signature of the M1060, then you're going to enjoy the Nighthawks better. If you could, though, because they do sound completely different, I would try my best to listen to both pairs from either like a headphone meet or a friend or something like that, because they're not in the same ballpark. It's hard to say which one is better because they're so different that it kind of comes down to just whatever sound signature you prefer. They're that different. It's like comparing, M50Xs with Hi-Fi Edition S's. They're different headphones. They're built for different things. They're not supposed to sound the same, and they don't sound the same. So depending on which one you prefer is going to be the one that you like more. But I guess a long way to answer a simple question, which bass is better? Technically, because it's more capable, the Nighthawks. Which bass is more enjoyable? In my opinion, the M1060s, because it's balanced with the rest of it. The Nighthawks, while they sound great, they do sound, I don't want to say compressed, because they don't sound compressed, they don't sound crunchy, but they have a lot of pressure behind everything they do. It's an odd sensation, it's an odd sound. Anyways, appreciate the question. I will link some of the burn-in reviews that I'm doing down in the description if you want to check those out. Next question. Daniel Jordanoff asks, thanks man, are you going to review some other headphones next? Can you do an AKG K712 Pro or a K7XX? Really interested in your opinion. I would love to. However, I've never actually heard any AKGs, and before anybody destroys me in the comments, I just haven't had a chance. Like, I've really tried to diversify the types of headphones I listen to, not only in style, being open and closed, but also in brands. So, instead of buying a well-known brand like another pair of Sennheisers to review, I bought the Nighthawks to review because not as many people have them, and it's, sure, it may not accrue as many views as like an AKG or something like that, but it allows me to kind of diversify my portfolio. So I have no idea what to expect when I listen to an AKG. So I might do them in the future if somebody wants to ship me or ship me anything to review. There's a video on how to send me stuff to review in the comment section down below, because I am kind of running out of stuff to review and it's getting pretty expensive to buy new stuff. So AKGs are definitely on the list. I haven't reviewed them yet. I haven't even heard them yet, so it would be a new experience. I'd be excited to listen to them. If you have AKGs though that you want me to review, Daniel, go ahead and send them to me, and I'd be more than happy to review them. I'd be really excited to check that out. So Cause said 973. Dude, get a more easy to say name, please. Okay. This is not, the question itself is not something I'm really looking to answer. It's more addressing the statement itself after the question. At what price point did you purchase the HD 598 Opens? Because I purchased the HD 598s. Because I purchased the 598s at 122 years ago, and they were steel. Okay, now I want to address these types of comments. First, I purchased them at whatever the retail price on Amazon right now is. I think it's like yeah, it's like 140 bucks. So I purchased them at that point, and I don't know what to call you, so I'm just going to call you 973 for, for this question. Okay, 973. Here's the deal. They sounded good. Like I said in the review, they sound pretty decent. And 2 years ago, you had, I mean, that sounds like a short amount of time, but you actually have a lot of headphones that have come out of different types at that price point in the last 2 years, and even more, you know, before that. You're starting to see planar magnetics creep into the territory of $150. I think the M1060s on, or I'm sorry, the M560s on Monoprice are $150, and that's a phenomenal deal. That's a really, really good deal. I don't really like the sound signature of the 560s, but a lot of people do, and if a lot of people do, then odds are a lot more people will. So I can recommend them, even though I personally don't like them. I can appreciate how they sound and what certain people are looking for. And I've done a lot of reviews in that price point, and I'm not going to assume the headphones that you have and haven't heard, and your opinion is completely your own, and all audiophile or audio enjoyment is about is just that. It's just enjoyment. So if you find that you like them, that's great. But for my recommendation, I can't recommend them because there are things at half that price. SHP 9500s or the Sony MD 7506s or whatever they are. Those are both, or the M40Xs, like I said in the review. Those are both really phenomenal options that come in cheaper than these. And in my opinion, they sound different, or not different, they sound better. But it's just my opinion, and you're welcome to have your opinion. But the 598, similar to the HC600, is kind of falling behind on the times. Like, they both sound amazing. The HC600s especially will have a special place in my heart always, or what got me into being an audiophile. But both these headphones were designed years ago. And the simple fact is that technology and sound design and how people are able to manipulate drivers and the types of drivers that are being used in headphones nowadays are just getting better. You have headphones that now have a choice between open and closed, like the HiFiMan Edition S or that M560 that I talked about. And I addressed in that video, and it wouldn't, because of your statement, it wouldn't appear that you've watched the whole video, which is fine. But I addressed in the video that there are a number of factors as to why, and this doesn't just go for the HD 598s, it's just headphones at any price point in general. There's a lot of price points now that have a lot of options, especially under that 200 mark. You know, like the open and closed, or if you're into it, some headphones have Bluetooth, and that could be incredibly important, and that's important to a lot of people. Another thing is the driver type. Like, there are really good planar magnetics that are about $200. The 565s are great. The M560s are great. I think the HE400s come in about that price point, about 200 bucks. And so there's all these other options. Build quality. You know, even if you want to talk about mid-range and vocal isolation, the SHP 9500s beat it. And I've heard Samsons are phenomenal. I think there's some AKGs that come in under that price. And there are just a ton of options. And for me to recommend a product at the price it's selling at, it has to do something better. And it has to do one thing better. I don't even need it to do all things better. I need it to do one thing better, and I can recommend it for that reason. But the HD598s just didn't have that thing. And there's a lot of headphones out there that don't have a thing anymore because especially under $200, it's a very saturated market, and it's probably going to stay that way for a while. And it's only going to get better, but that provides more options for the users and provides more content for me to make you guys. And this is all just opinion based. That's another huge factor to this, is that there is no, regarding what you think sounds better, there is no right or wrong answer. There is no clear, definitive, this sounds better. I forget where I was going with this shit. Anyways, next question. Okay, and then another addressed comment by HughTube is listening to Phil Collins' Tarzan soundtrack. LMAO, opinion disregarded. All right, listen up. The Tarzan soundtrack is amazing. I don't care what you say. And let's go over the potential reasons for you to say that you disregard my opinion. So is it taste in music? Well, that's all preference. Is it, like, I don't know what it could be. I mean, that's one of the best Disney movies ever made. Like, why all the hate? If you're going to talk about, like, recording studios and whether or not it sounds good, it was recorded in the Conway Recording Studio, which Beyonce uses. There's, I think the Black Eyed Peas uses. I'm not sure if Beyonce uses it anymore. She might have her own now, but she used to. It's one of the best recording studios on the planet. So what exactly are you disregarding and why? Please explain yourself. That was like the peak. That was like the pinnacle of good Disney movies, was Tarzan. Now it was like when it, right as it peaked, and then it's just started slowly going downhill from there. And Disney movies are still great, but they just don't have the same majesty as they used to back when they were being like drawn and every scene was like hand stitched together. Anyways, D Tall Chief commented, I thought open backs were supposed to have better sound quality. I go over this in a video titled Open Back Headphones Explained. The video is in the link down below. The gist of it is that there are good headphones and bad headphones of both kinds. And it comes down to... So that answer is a really complicated one. And it's something that I've thought a lot about. And I haven't really made up my mind on the final version of what I want to say. I will say that of the open backs that I have tried, they almost always sound better. Now, I've heard open backs that don't sound good. But I've heard more closed backs that I don't consider to sound good. And I think the thing with that is that developers of headphones and engineers of headphones aren't using the acoustic chamber to their advantage a lot of the time. Sometimes they are, but most of the time, and like I said, there are exceptions, but most of the time they don't really use it to their advantage. So if you want more in-depth as to why a lot of people say that it sounds better, that video is in the description down below. But there's a ton of factors that go into it. I might make a video of open back versus closed back and go over all the differences. But yeah, there's no clear answer. And it's kind of the same way with a lot of audio, is like there's all sorts of caveats and reasons why, oh, it's better at this, or oh, it's better at that. And it's really hard to quantify which is better as a whole. But from personal experience, open back headphones sound better, but closed backs but closed backs can serve more purposes, and they're much more versatile. So, like I said, a whole bunch of factors. It depends on what you're going for. This video is getting kind of long, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. I enjoyed sitting with you guys and having a little bit of coffee. And I guess I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Stay safe. Don't do anything your mom wouldn't approve of. Don't drown. It's always good advice. Peace.